Hey guys, Jerry here. I'm going to go on ahead and make a video here on some tips on how to stay warm if you're out here, and you're trucking during the winter time. Now, obviously this becomes all the more crucial, guys, if you truck up north. I'm talking about like northern Indiana and Illinois into Chicago. I'm talking about Pennsylvania, New York, and upstate New York. And of course, when it comes to be January now, it's going to even spread down as far as North Carolina and even South Carolina and northern Georgia. So you need to be prepared for some really rough weather. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips on what that I have done to be prepared for this upcoming winter time, and how to stay warm in your international LT truck. Because obviously, because of the phase 4 and the phase 5, we can't keep these trucks cranked anymore. They won't let them idle, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few tips on what I've done with my bed. Then I'm going to show you what to do with your bunk heater and how to keep warm during your 10-hour break. Okay. Now, one thing I want to start with, on the top here, I've got a very thick 13-inch mattress, and I actually did the same thing down here as well. Mine is. So I bought a very thick, very comfortable mattress because, guys, it's important to me that I sleep good. And if I'm going to do a little bit of training this one up top here, I may end up doing that. I want whoever it is to be comfortable. But you need to get you a lot of cover, guys. I've got this big comforter. Cost me about $100. Here's a quilt. I've got several extra blankets just in case I need them. I've got me set a couple of comfortable pillows, and I bought this one great big long pillow, guys, that adds to my warmth in Walmart. You may want to buy you some thermal pants, thermal underwear to sleep in, and get you some of these thermal socks, guys, to even sleep in. Because, it's going to get rough, okay? You need to be prepared in these trucks for it to get rough. Now, aside from taking care of your bed and taking care of yourself, we're going to address the whole issue of this truck not being cranked for 10 hours and what you're going to have to do. So stay tuned here. Guys, one thing that I'm going to suggest in this now, I bought this Road Pro. This little heater made by Road Pro, and it's one of those little 12-volt heaters. It's got the plug in, okay? I recommend you get one of these. And the reason why is this assist is really good with your bunk heater being able to take care of you for the full 10 hours. Because usually what I do, sometimes I might run this one little heater all night long if it's not too awful cold instead of running the bunk. Or if it's real cold, the first 2 or 3 hours that I take a shower and go get something to eat or whatever, I'll leave this little sucker for the first 2 or 3 hours on so it don't get real cold in my truck. It keeps it kind of lukewarm in here. And then I let my bunk heater keep me warm for the remaining 7 hours or 6.5 hours, what time I rest. Your bunk heater is only going to last 6.5 to 8 hours for you. 8 hours if your batteries are very, very healthy. Okay? So let's have a talk about the batteries here real quick. But get you one of these little Road Pros. They're not that expensive, and they put out very well. And it doesn't run your battery down so quick. But let's talk about the batteries here. Okay, guys, on your batteries, let me tell you something. You want to make sure that all 4 of your batteries check out okay with being perfectly fine. If one of them is down some, it's going to seriously shorten how long your bunk heater will work. I found out the hard way up in northern Indiana. I ended up getting sick over it too because my bunk heater was cutting off after just an hour and a half, 2 hours. Also, make sure that your terminals and stuff are very cleaned off real well. That all 4 of your batteries need to be completely, perfectly healthy, especially the main level 1 battery that feeds straight off to your bunk heater. Because we're going to get in right here and I'm going to show you what your truck does, your Prostar LT, what it does to you while that you're in the bunk. Let's go to that. Okay guys, let me show you something here. Right up here in this corner on your Prostar, your LT International, you may not be able to see it too good right here. It's going to give you the volts of your battery. If all of your batteries are healthy and they're charging good with your alternator, it'll be reading 14.0 volts. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what happens when the bunk heater starts running off of the batteries. It will run it off from 14 volts all the way to 12.9 volts. Once it gets down to 12.9 volts, it will automatically clip everything on you. The reason why that it does that is it saves the truck enough to turn this Cummins motor over in the cold weather. It will not let itself get all the way down to the point where it cannot turn itself over, okay? And so that's what it does. Now I'm going to show you the operation of the bunk heater here and how to operate it. First, you need to turn your truck on. And, you know, obviously you've been running it, so it should be 14.0 volts of health. So with the truck on, I'm going to show you what to do and make sure it's on when you set your bunk heater. All right, guys, with your truck on, you want to come back to your bunk. And notice it'll say, I don't know if you can see it here or not, it'll say heater is stopped. That's what it says. Press right here and it'll say heater is enabled. And it'll have it at 72 degrees. If it's not too awful cold outside, leave it at 72. You want to try to get by with as little as you can get by with, because the hotter you get it, the less the duration is it'll go. Tonight I'm going to set mine at 74. It's not terribly cold outside, but I'll set it at that. Now, once I have set it, enabled the heater with the center button at 74 with it saying heater enabled. Once I do that, I come back up to where I'm sitting, okay, in the chair. And what I do is I just simply cut it off, and do not leave this thing in the ignition auxiliary. Leave it straight up and down. Don't turn it that way, don't turn it that way. If you turn it that way, you're liable not to be able to crank it the next morning. Leave the key straight up and down in the off position. So we put it so the heater is enabled back here. Now you're not going to hear anything at first, okay? You're not going to hear a thing. You got to give it a few minutes. Hang tight here. Let me give you another quick piece of advice there, guys, while I'm waiting on my bunk heater to get kicked up. You need to make sure on this passenger side that's over here, go to your utility box and make sure you don't have anything that'll melt or catch on fire that is in very close proximity with your bunk heater unit that operates underneath your bed, okay? Because if you do, it could melt it down, it could do anything. Now I can hear mine getting cranked up here, so let's go underneath and let's look at it here. Okay, go down here. Let's take a look at it. I can hear it getting kicked up. Floor's a little bit dirty, guys, but it's been winter time. What the heck? See there? It's blowing. don't have anything at all, guys. My floor needs cleaned off, guys. I apologize for this, but it's wintertime. Don't have anything at all in this proximity close to this heater. If you do, it'll melt it. Your shoes, anything. Matter of fact, I'll even get this refrigerator and get it away from this. Even though it's a good 16, 17 inches away, I'll get it away. But you've got about 6.5 to 8 hours, depending on how your batteries are. But the main important thing is make sure your batteries are healthy, guys. If you think they're not, go to a Love's or go to a TA and have them checked out, okay? So now you got a few tips for the winter time, and I've showed you how to use your bunk heater for the Prostar LT. Be having some more videos come by shortly.